The Todd Shapiro Show, Canada Laughs, SiriusXM 168.
Without delay, the Blockchain Report, sponsored by Datametrex. For more information, go to datametrex.com.
Dude, that's a dope. Great job. Great job. Palau, everybody. Working hard. Welcome to the program where we have Colin Shergold still co-hosting before the prostates a little bit later. But we appreciate the president and CEO, Jeff Stevens, being here. How you doing, Jeff? Nice to see you.
Excellent, guys. Thanks very much for having me.
Do you like when you pop on, because you're the president of a big company. So when you pop on like a radio show, do you kind of get excited to do that?
Oh, for sure. To work with you, I listened to you on the radio for years. So to work with you on this is fantastic, and to be able to engage with your audience and tell them about Datametrex AI and Blockchain, we're really excited.
Well, we're super grateful for you to be here, and also just always nice to have a new partner and stuff. And man, you keep hearing things like AI and blockchain and all these buzzwords, and it's one of those things that I think guys and ladies obviously comes up like where you're at the bar and you're learning about stocks to invest in, you're learning about technology evolving, or you're hearing something Elon Musk said and you want to learn about that, or you're looking at this Sophie, the AI robot in Dubai, and she got her citizenship and stuff, and it's just also mind-blowing. So let's just start with what Datametrex does.
Yeah, great. Thanks for that. So Datametrex, as you mentioned, is a publicly traded company. We went public in June of 2017 on the Toronto Venture Exchange, and we went public on our point-of-sale device for collecting data. So a big data play, collecting retail sales data at the point-of-sale terminal, and then repackaging that and reselling it back to brands. And we're focusing on that independent channel. And then in September, we made an announcement where we signed an LOI to acquire a company called Nexalogy.
What's LOI, just for layman's?
Yeah, I take some things for granted. Okay. An LOI is a letter of intent. So it's basically just the beginning phase of an acquisition, where you're saying, okay, we like each other, we're going to dance. And so we signed the LOI and then worked through the next couple months structuring the share purchase agreement, which is the SPA, and then finalizing the deal, which just happened this Monday. So it's been a great week for Datametrex, its shareholders, and our new partners.
Well, congratulations. That's huge news. And so you've now partnered, because you've had sort of two big announcements within the short week already. Yeah,
so we completed a financing where we raised $5.75 million at 10 cents with a full warrant at 15 cents. And we can talk about the unit and warrants, if you like, later with your guys. But so we were oversubscribed. We had close to $8 million in interest, and we had to cap it at $5.75 million. And so that was fantastic to have that vote of confidence from our existing shareholders and new shareholders. And then we closed the acquisition of Nexalogy as well. So that was another big one. And then shortly after, on Tuesday, we had a press release talking about a joint venture that we formed in our wholly owned subsidiary called Datametrex Blockchain Limited. So we've got a joint venture 50-50 with a company in San Francisco called Bitnine. And so we're going to use that new joint venture company for blockchain technologies and utilizing that in the data transfer.
Cowan, doesn't this stuff just blow your mind? All this, just understanding sort of the lingo and the big business.
We had a Loy and a spa. I like the spa.
I don't mind spas either. It's funny because I've always been a super creative guy my whole life, and friends with guys who've started big businesses, and even say friends with the CEO of Canada Goose, very close friend of mine, Danny Reese, and to watch sort of a business mind work and to watch businesses grow is super exciting from the peripheral. But obviously there's opportunities for people to get involved, whether it's through investments and things like that, and everyone should do their due diligence and stuff. And you've sort of been in this industry for quite some time, but the new space of Datametrex must be really, really exciting for you.
Yeah, we're very thrilled. We got lucky. The buzzwords right now in the markets are blockchain and artificial intelligence and big data. Marijuana stories obviously are very big as well right now. Mm-hmm. So we're very fortunate timing-wise, where we had a great idea with the technology, and it was actually one of our shareholders that brought the Nexalogy opportunity to us when they subscribed to the reverse takeover where we went public. So we've been really lucky that we've got a great shareholder base that share information with us and encourage us to grow the business. And the CEO, Andrew Yu, he's a fantastic visionary. He's able to see the big picture of things, and we work well as a team to make it happen.
So what's Nexalogy then?
So Nexalogy has an artificial intelligence solution, and what they do is they comb through social media. They use their tool set to comb through social media And they'll effectively work for brands. In this case, they'll work for brands to provide them with clear data on what's being said about their brand in social media in a certain area. So they can lock it into just downtown Toronto. They could look at Toronto GTA. But what's really neat is they're able to get rid of the noise. So they can identify when it's a robot that's tweeting or talking about it. They can identify when it's humans. They can identify something that is just a guy saying, like Ford Canada, for example, hashtag I love fishing, hashtag I love my son, hashtag I love my Ford. Well, that doesn't help Ford make a business decision other than, hey, we're doing a great job branding. But if it's someone that said, hashtag Ford fail, you know, my brakes just went after 20,000 kilometers, now they can reach out to that individual directly because they've been able to narrow down that field and react to that. So it's business intelligence information. But what they've done in the last year is they've actually made a pivot, and they're working with government agencies. So right now, Nexalogy has contracts with the Canadian federal government in the 3 different contracts, and the largest one is with the military. Unfortunately, we can't discuss that to any great detail because it's you know, the military. It's the
military, yeah.
You know, it's security issues. But suffice to say, it's very exciting stuff, and that's the largest portion of the focus with the Canadian government right now. And we're thrilled.
Does
to
anybody
have
have any tinfoil? I'm gonna cover myself.
What, you got something to hide, or are you just worried about the prostate exam later? No. This is so important, kind of in the game that I'm in media. To be honest, is analyzing and figuring out what people are saying about you, and how to attract, you know, an audience, and how to speak to an audience and stuff. And when I hear what this, you know, Nexalogy does, I keep thinking about sort of how traditional, you know, measurements are done right now. Like in the terrestrial radio, for instance, I know they use like a thing just like people meters, and they have such a small sample of how they gauge an audience, especially here in the GTA. I think there's something like, now I'm paraphrasing here and just sort of guessing, but it's something like only like 250 to 400 samples of people walking around with literally these like sort of pager type devices that determine what signal you're listening to, and then that's the data that gets spread out to all potential advertisers. Say there's there's a 4 share at this station, there's a 5.2 share at this station. And I've always thought of that as so sort of archaic and foreign. And then I hear kind of the way you're looking about measuring everything within the social media space, from what I gather. Yeah. And not only that, and getting rid of the bots and stuff. To me, it's I just see it as so important, and it's only because from what I understand, my layman's terms of understanding past data collection, it seems so the future and so now.
Yeah, well, listen, it changes so quickly, and I think the team at Nexalogy are tremendous. These guys are, you know, Claude, who's the CEO, he's probably one of the smartest guys I've ever met, and he's a pleasure to work with. As I say, we just closed on Monday. We're having our closing dinner with them this evening. And,
nice. You look good, by the way, for the dinner. You look, okay, you're welcome.
So we look forward to sort of drilling down tomorrow on that. But you're right, there's a huge opportunity with this. The applications go far beyond, you know, just working with government agencies and brands. There's areas where you can take this, because it's business intelligence, and it's providing insights to certain areas that, as you're mentioning, are kind of archaic in the way they collect it and analyze it. And then they've got some new full, like 100% artificial intelligence solutions that remove the human involvement entirely, that are just like no one else has got it. So it's really exciting stuff, and we can't wait to share that with your audience when we're ready to.
It's so Callan, you have any questions? Because all this stuff is kind of a lot for me to take in, but
I just listened to a podcast where they were trying to figure out if Facebook is actually listening to you through your mobile device to target you with specific ads. And at the end of the day, they said, no, we're not listening to you. It's actually far creepier than that, because they're using like geolocations and words and Google searches and everything. And all of that information is far more powerful. Like this doesn't even need to hear you say things to like put all that information together. And I work as a voice actor, and so I have an interest in advertising, and I think this sort of fits in very nicely with the future ideas around the future of advertising, how like a commercial that you watch won't be the same as a commercial that I watch, because it'll be customized and altered to your needs.
The 30-second spot will be there, but they'll fill in something different.
That appeals to your taste and the brands that you consume. And I think that this is very much technology that will enable that. yeah, it's going to get to a point where all of the brands and products that we use in our lives are just going to automatically replenish themselves in our homes, and it's just going to be like automation.
That's good for wine.
No doubt.
No, dog, that's my rap name, White Wine.
There you go.
If they could only, the best part would be now just having Amazon just drop it on the, well, carefully, but lay it down on the front step of your door. Yeah. I mean, but this is what data collection is. It's so valuable for obviously big companies to target their who requires or who wants to utilize their services.
Yeah. Well, you can, as you mentioned from your world, for you to be able to target listeners in certain cities, and then send ads directly to them, or talk to them about upcoming events that might be happening. It's great because you can send that ad to someone that actually is wanting to learn about that, as opposed to just hoping that 5 or 10% of the people that you send this out to care. So the future is very exciting for it, for sure. We're a part of that puzzle. We don't claim to be the whole puzzle.
Sure. Yeah, but, you brought up a specific example about like using Ford, a Ford customer who's complaining about the product, and in giving Ford the opportunity to intercept that customer service complaint directly in a really unique way. And I think brand loyalty is so important that having that means to hone in so specifically directly to your customer is a really major asset. And it sounds interesting. Like, I would love to be able to be like, my new shoes, just like the heels falling off, like,
And I totally concur with you. I did consulting for a big company actually about 2 years ago, and I was consulting with on how to kind of approach their social media strategy. And one of the things they didn't want to do was address sort of negative comments based on their product. And I said, no, be fully accountable, come at people. It doesn't mean you're admitting to guilt at this point, and carefully, obviously, respond to it, but get to know your customer, because I promise you that there might be one who's always going to take it to a certain level where they're never going to be satisfied. But if you go and say, I'm sorry about this, how can we help you? How can we correct it? That will get you repeat business. And I think that's, this is what I'm learning what Datametrex will be saying Nexalogy will be so good for.
Historically, Nexalogy, some of the clients that they've worked with in the mining industry, for example, they use the technology so that they could, everything starts as a ripple, and people try and build critical mass on social media in today's world. So if someone's got a workplace issue, a union issue, it's going to start off and they're going to try and gain momentum. And so that ripple can become a wave, which could become a tsunami if you're not in front of it. And so these mining companies would use the technology to understand what's being said on social media so that they could get in front of it and deal with issues before they become a tsunami. And with public companies, you can save millions of dollars in market cap by being in front of it and dealing with it quickly, just as you mentioned with any brand, for example. If you're up front and you deal with the issues at the beginning, you're going to prevent further potential losses, and whether those losses are monetary in a market cap or the loss in brand value. One person who's dissatisfied talking, they're going to talk to 10 people. One happy person maybe tells 2. So the opportunity to get in front of that's key.
I could have used that 4 years ago.
Hey, we all could at some point, right?
Yeah, right. Just to put out the fire before it spreads. Well, this is super awesome, Jeff. I mean, I love this stuff. People can follow Datametrex at Datametrex, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Twitter, Facebook page, and we are on a platform. If you're interested in stocks and you want to talk to us directly, we're on a platform called 80/20 Connect. And you can join us on that and ask questions to me directly. It's a great platform because I'll answer one question, which might actually answer 10 questions that other people had. So it saves me having to repeat everything, and it's a great way to communicate.
It's interesting because that's literally what we were just talking about, is sort of full disclosure, transparency, and dealing with people who
I'm not doing the prostate exam. Come
on, dude.
That's where you're going.
Come on, I think we're the same age. I'm just making.
Give us your data.
I shook your hand.
We take data in a different way. Exactly.
Exactly. I shook your hand. Your hands are too big.
No, Dr. Dean Elterman's outside. Well, yeah, and sorry for including you on today's show, but it is important. It's important to where I'm looking out for dudes. That's what I'm doing. I'm looking out for dudes on many different levels. One, being real. I always say, be authentic, be real, be who you are. 2, don't be a creep. Okay, let's start with that one. 3, learn and laugh. Learn and laughing is my theory, and that's sort of what we're doing here. And I want to help them with their health and perhaps investments and things like that. Like it's just sort of this full encompassing, real direct way of talking to them. And I think that's why I think that's if once we get Nexalogy working for us, I think that's what people will say about the show.
There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks, buddy. And you're well. Before you go, Jeff, at 123 Marley 123.
So that was before I was the president and CEO of a data company, and when I set up my account, I didn't realize that I was going to would become part of my corporate identity.
Sure.
My first dog's name was Marley, and so it was just sort of homage to my dog.
And is that based on Bob Marley?
Well, there was a little bit back in the
like
day.
that.
We're a big fan of Bob, and to this day we like to enjoy the music. So yeah, for sure.
Excellent. Well, that's as real as it gets right there. Let's put it at that.
The Todd Shapiro Show, Canada Laughs, SiriusXM 168.